Welcome to another episode of Chopp'n It Up. I'm your host, Ryan Went, and I got a cool cat guest with me today that everybody's been hounding me about. He's been hounding me about it. So you got to give what the people want, Mr. Jerry Culver. Round of applause. Good. How you doing tonight, man? Are you there?
That was weird.
There it goes. That was
I just
weird.
exited out of it.
Oh, okay. That threw me for a loop. How you doing tonight?
Good. How about you?
Oh, I've working, working, trying to
Yeah.
figure stuff out and do some recruiting tonight for the league. You were there. You helped
Yep.
out.
Yes, sir.
Um, so I'm gonna start this way a shitty way, which I'm sure you knew was coming regardless, and which is why I postponed. All right, you froze. Are you still there? All right. So as I was saying, you're messing with shit again. Don't break it, Jerry.
I'm trying to get on the internet.
Oh, the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Screw it.
All right. So as I was beginning to say, um, everybody's been begging for it. They all wanted you on here, and you froze again. Guaranteed ain't gonna happen this time.
I hope not. Shitty camera though. Oh well, fuck it.
All right, whatever. They they seen your face already. We'll we'll leave like a snippet in there of what you look like in high def.
Yep,
Then we'll cut over this.
it's all
Anyways,
good.
um, so as I was saying, everybody's wanted you on here. You wanted to be on here, and like I said, I hate starting podcasts off shitty, but obviously I held off having you on here due to your mother passing. Um, and obviously, everybody grieves, in different ways. And you were kind of in chop shop, out chop shop, just kind of back and forth, which is it's awesome that you think of John and Stryker and those guys in here, as much family as you know actual relatives of yours. Um, so that being said, that's the reason. And obviously, your mom played a gigantic part in doing what we do. And I know some of the story, but I don't know the full story. So if you could just walk us down, the path of, you know, growing up with your mom, was she into racing? Were you into racing? And then kind of transpired to how she became a sponsor of our league.
Yeah, I've loved racing my whole life, man. My dad liked racing. We used to have a place called Spanaway Speedway that we would go to every Friday and Saturday night. Me and my dad were there watching. Um, just love race, just love watching race, and my mom would always go with us. And then yeah, once I got into iRacing, I mean, I joined a broadcast league, and she watched every race I've done up until she passed. Um, just was hanging out in Chop Shop one day, and Stryker was trying to find a sponsor, and my mom had an antique business where she would fix up old dolls, old luggage, anything antique she would fix, make it nice. And then she had a little booth at a antique mall, and she was like one of the top sellers, doing really well there after she retired. Um, she had her dad. She lost in 2020 in November, and then 6 days later, my older brother passed, and it was really hard on her. I mean, my dad passing in 2006 was really hard on her, so she had like double whammy. Um, she would just sit out in the living room, literally. I live in her house now, so right out here, she had a fireplace and she had pillows and she'd always lay there and she'd be chain smoking cigarettes up that chimney. Just, I'm not smoking in the house, you know. It's
One right
going
after
out.
another.
And it just she was always just there watching videos on how to fix things. And she had like 3 tablets so she could watch me on Twitch at the same time, watch the broadcast on like e-signature or whatever I'm racing at, and then she'd be watching her antiques on the other one, you know. I mean, she just loved to watch me race. I mean, she got me my wheel, my pedals, my rig. I mean, she knew how much racing meant to me. I don't care about stats. I don't care how many championships or who pulled this off or whatever. I don't care about that. I just like watching cars go around and these guys trying to be the better than the next guy. That's all it is. I just the 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 competitorship is what I enjoy the most out of everything. And she knew that, so she, helped me upgrade and stuff. And one day I was in Chop Shop and Striker was trying to find a sponsor, and I go, "Well, let me ask my mom. I mean, she might do it." So call my mom up, and sure enough, yeah, I'll do it. So we got my 3 sons up on there, and ever she would, I think, had 2 seasons with us, and then that's when she passed. And yeah, she would come hang out with us at night. She'd talk shit to Mark Odell all the time.
See, that's what I knew. I remember Stryker telling me, like Sherry would come into the Discord. It wasn't often, but she would, and I was wondering, like, obviously, everybody talks crap about Mark Odell, but I mean, what were the conversations that just conspired with her, through those times?
She just liked listening in. She'd come in during the races and mute herself and just listen to us just talk crap to each other, or what's your pit strategy here. She just liked listening to us. Like, she didn't care if there was jokes, dirty jokes, whatever. She didn't care. She just wanted to hear us racing, and that was like her favorite part.
So I mean, it sounds like she was she was one of them kind of women that just like, if her son was having fun and like noticed how everybody was having fun with him and just hanging out with his friends and talking racing, like she enjoyed hearing that joy.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, my daughter races. She races quarter midgets, and she would, when my daughter's car got stolen, she ended up buying my daughter another car. I mean, she just liked to make everybody happy, man.
Yeah, yeah, and everything, obviously I've heard from you, and I've heard, just the people that were fortunate enough to meet her. Unfortunately I wasn't fortunate enough to get that privilege, but from everything I've heard from everybody, she was a hoot, I guess you'd say it back in the old days.
Yeah, she was a hoot. She loved. Yep, she liked racing. I mean, one year I used to race in a league called the MPI Cup League, and one of the guys was a crew member in the pits for Joey Logano, and he sent me a hat signed by him, and I have it somewhere around here, but sent it to her for her birthday, and I think that's where she really like gained the respect for the iRacing community.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just awesome. There's no other words to explain that, especially if somebody's just thinking about you like that. And I know, Stryker loved her like she was family,
Oh,
along
dude,
with
she
every.
liked him better than she likes me.
Well, listen, Stryker's a liar, right? and, and he makes backdoor
McDreamy.
deals.
Yeah, backdoor deals. That's right.
All right. I wanted to touch base with you with one of the things you were saying during all that. You were expressing, it's it's rare for me to talk to somebody, because obviously I raced in real life, so I mean this goes across both platforms here, in real life and in Discord with the iRacing community. But the people I talk to, it's very, very rare that somebody talks about racing the way you just did, because the passion flows that deep. I think that I like it that much too, but what do you know that is that rare? Like it's normal to you. I get that, but like there's people out there that like racing, but then there's people that love racing.
Right.
So I mean, do you notice that ever?
What's that?
That versus somebody that likes racing that maybe you've spoken to versus you that loves racing.
Yeah, I mean, racing out in quarter midgets. Every one of them fathers out there pushing their kids out loves racing just as much as I do. I mean, why else would we be there? You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
it's cool when you can get into a community like that and be around people that love racing just maybe as much as I do. I mean, when we go to some tracks, we get to go to the big tracks, and I'll watch those kids just like I watch those adults at the big track. I mean, I could sit out there for hours and just watch racing. It that doesn't matter what it is.
See, and that was going to be my next question, because I remember, I'm sure you have some stories like this, but I remember, like me and Dad, and my dad's a huge car guy, still does rebuilds all the time, and he's getting to the point where I don't know how he does it, but he manages to do it. But we'd be laying there on a weekend, and we'd just be skipping through the channels trying to watch, off-road TV, all those guys just building cars and whatnot, and there's nothing on. So obviously you're like, okay, well, we give up. Well, we come across this boat race. They're racing these boats. We literally watched that for like 3 days straight because it was some finals. I mean, can you relate to that,
Yeah, I mean, definitely. There's a guy I work with. He races RC cars. Sometimes I go down there on Sundays, just sit there and watch everyone race. I mean,
Yeah,
racing's
that's
racing. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a
oh
simulator, if it's a real car, if it's RC car. I mean,
I mean, have you watched them planes race? They do those obstacle courses.
yeah, the Red Bull ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
stupid. I wouldn't do
sign,
that.
sign me up.
I
I
mean, if I can only see one of the rings they go through, I ain't going to it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Jerry, don't do planes. He's not into that.
I mean, I'll fly a flight simulator. I mean, but
You just don't want to go Red Bull racing with the Blue
nah, I'm
Angels.
a big boy, man. When I fall, it hurts more.
But if you think you're gonna survive that fall, I think you're reaching there.
Oh, dude, I'd have one of them tank parachutes on me.
So what? This guy. This is Jerry, everybody. You can have a 5-minute conversation, just start laughing. That's just how he is. Um, what got you into iRacing? Like obviously you love racing. Like how'd you come across iRacing? A lot of people still, even race fans, uh, again, this is where it's somebody that likes it versus love it, doesn't even know about iRacing. Like, so how'd you find out, and how, like, just walk us through how you actually got into it?
So, how I got into it is I I watch NASCAR every Sunday. That's just what I do. I mean, it's what I've done I did with my dad growing up, and just Sundays is NASCAR. And if it's racing season, I mean, that's what I'm doing. If I'm out on vacation Sunday, I'm watching NASCAR. I'm listening to it on the radio driving home. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I forgot what I was talking about.
How you got into iRacing?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Duh.
Yeah, you're all right.
Uh, um. So COVID hit, and NASCAR stopped racing on the tracks, and they went 100% simulator. That first race they did it on there, and ESPN covered it. I think it was. I think ESPN's the one that put it on with iRacing. And the second I found out that that was a video game, I looked into it on my phone while it was going. And it just so happened that week I got my stimulus check. Both me and my wife got it. So me and my wife went and got matching computers. I obviously got a better monitor than her, and then I started out on iRacing April of 2020. When I
So
got that first computer, though, I got it from Walmart, and it was an HP. Brought it home, downloaded it in iRacing instantly. First thing I did, I mean, I didn't even look at anything else but iRacing. I downloaded it, put my debit card in, and said, "Take my money." And then I got on, and I'm like, "Oh crap! All these guys have wheels. All I got is this Xbox controller." I mean, how bad could it be? I mean, I grew up playing. I still own every Forza. I mean, so I was like, whatever. We'll try it on a controller. Next week, my wheel will come in. I just ordered it. Like, okay. Started out in dirt. Did the mod. What are they? The street stocks.
street stocks, yeah.
And I mean, after like my eighth race, I started winning races, and I was moving up. Got out of rookie class, got in the D class, started doing the pickup trucks, and my Logitech finally came in, and it just boom, I was addicted. I'm on it every day.
What kind of is it? The same wheel and pedals that you originally bought that you're using today still?
No, so I had a Logitech, the Xbox One, the G920 or
Yep.
whatever it is. Started out with that, and then my pedal started acting up, and my mom was actually she was at the casino watching my race, and my pedal stopped working in the middle of the race, like literally like cutting in and out, like, and I just had to pull over and exit. And so she calls me up and she goes, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, my my pedals, they're a little old and I use them way too much than I should have." But
Right.
and she goes, "Well, I'm at the casino and I just won like 5 grand, so you can order some and I'll pay for it." And I'm like, "Okay, we're going Fanatec." So ended up getting the what is it, the 2.5 CSW or whatever wheel, the dual band or dual belt
Yeah.
drive,
Yep.
and then I got the Porsche rim with it, and then I got the what is it, the load cell pedals or whatever
Okay.
they are.
Yeah.
And then I ordered a rig that's a GT knockoff for like 150 bucks from China, and still racing it today, but it's not fully assembled yet here. I just got my wheel and pedals, and yeah.
Well, man, and I don't know if you watch Nate Biggert's podcast or not, but I mean, he has a foldable up rig.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I listened to it. I didn't watch it. I was at work listening to it, so
yeah, I mean,
didn't
it's
catch that.
he's clear proof that it doesn't matter what you're in. And like you guys were joking with me earlier tonight, I got a $12,000 rig and I suck. So
Yeah.
it is. I do. I mean, I got one of the flashiest rigs probably in the league, dude, and I suck.
Hey, one thing though, do you have fun?
Oh yeah, dude, I have a blast.
That's all that matters.
I love racing. Oh,
I
dude, I will race anybody, anytime, with anything. Like if we were racing on how fast we could roll a rock down a hill, I guarantee I'm in on that.
Yep. Yep.
It, it just, dude, there's just you're so wait, let's go back here. So you say both your daughters race? Uh,
Scarlett right now, Lily does not. She hasn't done
okay,
her novice training,
okay.
but Scarlett does,
Um,
yes.
did you race those little carts growing up at all?
Never.
You just didn't have the opportunity.
I mean, other than Cruising USA and Rush 64, I mean, no. I
Okay.
never go karts here and there when we'd go to the Ocean Shores or Ocean Place. I mean, that's about it.
Did your daughter? Did she have? Is it one of those things? Are you just kind of testing the waters to see if she's into it, or is it just something that like she's into it, so that's how you got started in that?
So I guess this would be our third year coming up. So 2 years ago, me and my wife work our butt off and don't really have a lot to show for it. I mean, we got bills, kids. I mean, it's expensive. Um, but we got a hefty, probably the biggest tax return we ever had. And we said, you know what? We're going to do something good with the kids with this instead of paying a lot of stuff off, which we should have done, but we didn't. Um, we used to live out in Graham where they race, where our home track is, and we lived 5 minutes away, but we couldn't go to it because COVID. Hold on.
Having a sneezing fit over there.
We lived 5 minutes away from the track. We could hear them racing, but because of COVID restrictions, that only the people that were racing could be there, and they had to have masks on. I mean, the bull crap, you know. And so we could never go. And then we ended up moving out here to the north end of Tacoma to be closer to my mom. And so I think my wife saw something on the internet about them having like a ride day. So my middle child, Lily, she's like, Mom, I want to go drive a go kart. So we ended up taking them out there. You pay like $15. Um, they get the kids all suited up, put in a car that fits them, and then they get to do 10 laps without the gas, just putting around, just having fun. In a little kid race, like quarter midget race, like it's a legit race car. I don't care what you say, it's not a go kart. Go karts you can get killed in. These things are race cars. They're safe as heck. I mean,
Right.
and these kids have a blast, and they're just idling around the track. I mean, so we get the kids in there, and Scarlett goes first, and she goes out and she kills it. I mean, she goes extra laps, and they're trying to get her off the track, and then finally she figures it out, and she doesn't know where the brakes are, and she starts aiming the car right to me, and I'm at like the where they go onto the track at, and there's a little switch on the top that you can hit, and it'll actually kill it. And she's coming right at me, so I tried to hit that switch, and sure enough, she drove right into that wall. Boom, and just stops. I mean, they're momentum motors, so
Right.
so I go over there, and she goes, Dad, I'm okay. The steering wheel hit my chest, but I'm okay. And ever since then, she's loved it. She didn't want to do it, but she did it, and she loves it. And then the one that wanted to do it doesn't like doing it because she made it at half a lap and racked it right into the turn two and broke a tie rod and freaked out. So she didn't want to do it again, and I haven't really been able to get her to get in a car since then. But we're gonna try working this year.
That's awesome that at that young age they already, I mean, obviously it's normal for us, but for girls, not so much. So it's cool that, at such a young age she has a passion to do it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the fastest people at our tracks are girls.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome that these girls are out there kicking butt against all these boys. I mean, that's why I love watching it. I mean, it's just a mixed bag of kids. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that I hope, I don't know if my kids like racing or not, and I'm trying. I don't want to force them into it, And my dad always had the deal like, just because I like cars doesn't mean you have to like cars. Well, everybody wants to kind of grow up and be like their old man, anyways, and
Right.
unfortunately, fortunately, it worked, and that's. I mean, if I were to thumb through our conversations, it's always something about a car or the Meekum car auction or whatever. So I definitely can relate there. Um,
Yeah, I'm always making fun of Ford owners too. Sucks to be gay.
you said,
Sorry.
when you guys got your stimulus checks, you and your wife bought a computer. Um, you don't really talk about your wife too much. So I legitimately don't know anything. I didn't even know she is a gamer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So, I mean, is that just kind of one of those things that you guys get a bond together with,
Yeah, definitely.
on a regular basis?
I always grew up just playing video games. It's just I love it. it just helps me escape, I guess, some of my problems temporarily. Um, but yeah, she grew up love watching her brother play anything. So when we got together, and I loved playing games, and she loved watching, so I mean, she'd just sit there for hours and watch me just do nothing, play Skyrim. I mean, so I
which
mean,
was an awesome game.
it was an okay game. Done the dragons ain't my thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody loved like the Final Fantasy and Fable, and I couldn't stand them damn
See, and she
things.
loves those games. I mean, we have a Switch that she plays on all the time. The kids share with her, and like right now, she's probably out there playing Pal World or whatever.
So, I mean, how long have you guys been married?
We got married in what was it, 2014?
Oh yeah, so you guys got some time in.
Yeah, met
So
met in
married,
2011.
married, 2 kids,
3.
3 kids.
Yeah, I got
See,
Scarlett, Lily, and then James. He's two and a half.
is James the youngest?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that you did it backwards, Jerry. The boy first, then the 2 girls. What the hell's the matter with you? Can you do anything right?
um, Probably not.
Well, I mean, dude, listen. I mean, you're you still got the personality, even all the bullshit that you've been through. So I I mean, you're doing something right. You're pushing forward. That's what it takes. And I'm fortunate enough that I know you. Because I mean, at first I wasn't a fan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, same, mutual.
Which
You had a big
I mean, our
mouth, and I mean, you said what you wanted to say, and you didn't care. I mean,
it's
me and you are the same person. It's just we show it differently. I'm more quiet with
exactly.
certain things. You're just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have to sometimes remind you. I'm like, Ryan, calm down.
I know, right, dude? And hey, man, even if I'm like, screw you, Jerry, don't fucking talk to me or whatever, like, just know it's not you. It's just
Well,
I'm mad in the moment.
no, I know. I
Because I'm
mean,
horrible at apologizing to people, dude.
and there's
So don't
sometimes
take it.
I'll try and pick at you and kind of talk to you, and
I
I mean,
know.
because I know it'll get you more like, especially when you get in it with John. It's like I try and hype it up, like, oh, did you hear that, John? No, right, dude. No way, dude. You can't get him. I mean, I'm the instigator sometimes, and it's just
Hey,
yeah.
man, you
You do the
sometimes
same
you gotta
thing.
pull. So yeah, sometimes you gotta get that wooden spoon out of your back pocket and start stirring, brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't tell you how much this league by itself helped me get through everything this last year or last couple months. I mean, Striker, me and Striker just click. Like we could read each other's minds. I mean, just we're just good friends. I mean, we're all good friends, but me and Striker have a special bond. I mean, he had a friendship with my mom. Like, just super nice guy, and yeah, can't say much more about him. I mean, he's always been there for me if I need to talk to him about something. And yeah, all you guys are the same way, though. I know that, and I want to thank all of you guys: Nate, Michael Caffrey, um, Dove, Brad Dove, um, John, your cousin Church. I mean, couldn't have done it without any of you guys. So I want to say thank you.
Hey, man, it was our privilege. Um, it's and to capitalize on that, I've seen Stryker get on, every Saturday because or whatever day it is. I can't remember what day it is. But when you go run outcasting, he's always there to watch you and root you on.
Yep.
And every time you're in a series race, and I didn't know it, I'd hop on as often as I could and shoot shit with you and watch. So, dude, it we're we're all the same. We love the sport, whether it's us doing it. I mean, obviously we prefer it being us doing it, but we love watching it regardless and rooting on family.
Right.
Um. So yeah, that's it is what it is. Life goes on. We'll push forward and upward and wherever word.
Yep.
um. Yeah. Oh, this is how this started because I said I wasn't a fan of you at first.
Yep.
Because I remember the first time I actually talked to you. I don't remember who you were getting into it with, but I was like, dude, chill the hell
It
out.
was
And
it was or no, it was Alex Thompson.
it was, that's
He
right.
wrecked me on not even the first. We didn't even complete a first. We came out of turn 2, and I had to check up for someone, and he hit me so hard in my tailgate and sent me into the in wall, and kaboom. And the worst part about it was I was on driver cam for Signature Sports, and I didn't even get a
Oh,
full lap in, and I just left. I just turned everything. I just left.
you're
I
like,
just left it on and just walked
screw it.
away. I was just like, oh my god. And
Oh, yeah,
that's
because
kind of
I
why
know
I
when I,
got into that kid that day. And
right,
I mean, he's
that's
gotten better,
understandable.
and yeah, so
It was
hopefully
funny
that kind of
because
helped him.
it was funny because you're like, who the hell are you to even talk to me? I was like, damn. You're like, shut your mouth, pussy. You don't know nothing.
Yeah, you weren't there.
Yeah, right? It's like, you fucking peasant, get the hell out
Uh,
of here.
I wasn't trying to
Uh,
be like. I tried to do it in the like nicest way I could. Like it.
well, it didn't come off bad at first until obviously I don't know what Thompson said back, but that's what sparked the fire under you.
Right. He goes, well, I don't have time like everybody else to practice, and I was like, you can't take like 20 minutes of one day when we have practice to just sit down and practice for 20 minutes to help yourself
Well,
get
and
better.
you
But
know,
he
and
does now.
right. Well, yeah, obviously he learned that lesson. But going forward, you know, most people that don't get the opportunity to practice is, I mean, if the guy's good, he can just jump in and go, obviously.
Right.
But if the guy isn't, like, let's just use me as an example because I'm not that. I mean, I'm better than when I started, but even my first race in this league was North Wilkesboro, and I got like ninth.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I didn't practice, I didn't do anything. I just jumped and went, you know, with brand new equipment. You got to know to just go slow. You don't want to be the guy to ruin everybody else's race, especially if you didn't practice. Go
Right.
slow, get a feel for the track, get the tires warmed up, and then start pushing the limits a little bit, and then you'll be all right.
But
Most
see,
people don't do that.
right. And that was I think the most frustrating part with that whole incident was because I think me and Stryker did like 220 laps at New Hampshire. Me and him had that track dialed in. I knew what to do. I knew where I needed to be on the track to make passes and how to do it. I mean, we spent a lot of time that night practicing. That's what kind of sparked that for me. I really don't do it. I mean, that was my first time ever really getting on someone in iRacing like that kind of deal. It didn't make me happy, but I mean, it's just hard when someone can put so much time into it and then get 20 seconds into a race and then the guy that didn't practice ends it. I mean,
Yeah, it's one of
it
those
hurts, and I mean it happens in officials all the time. I mean it just sucks, but sometimes you just got to let it go.
you know, it's all you can do for it is like, hey, man, like I'm mad. Obviously, I'm gonna be mad at you for a while until you can prove to me otherwise that, you know, you can run and not take people out. And you know, we talked about in our podcast. You know, he struggled a lot, and still, he's not. I don't believe he's struggling nearly as much as what he
No,
was in any way, shape, or form. I
he's
think
doing
there's
really good,
right. I think
and
there's
I'm proud
other
of him.
people. I think there's other people that skill level is beneath his now, and like he's just kind of off the radar now. You know, like he doesn't have to worry about everybody. You know,
Yep.
he's not as solid as a lot of us are, but he's going. We know he's going to do everything in his power if he's losing control of his vehicle to keep it off anybody else. Because I've seen him get loose before, and he'll just drive. He'll drive it straight down so his truck doesn't go back up and take out the field. And obviously, that's a trait that's learned over the course of the time of running.
Right.
Um, what? I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. What? What do you think like has been your biggest growth just for you? Because I mean, obviously, we all suck when we first start. It doesn't. and then you get into a league out of officials, and those guys are on another tier anyways. What do you think's helped you the most on your driver development from start to where you're at now?
Running open setups, not being afraid to try and fiddle with setups or buy a setup. I mean, I'll buy a setup any day if I know it's fast. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't know how to set a car up on here. I mean, I have to ask someone every time we're in a race, hey, which adjustments should I do? I mean,
Hey man,
I don't know what to
I
do.
tried to help you that last time.
Oh,
I mean,
and it helped
it
me
didn't
big
go as
time,
well.
man. Thank you. I mean, but definitely the open setups is what I feel helps me because as you know, I have speed. I just can't hold on the tires.
Well, dude, that's almost how. I mean, that goes for so. I mean, there's maybe 10 people in our entire league that even if they are fast and they get good finishes, still can't manage their tires. I would say there's probably only 10 legitimate people that know how to save tire properly to be able to finish.
I can tell you exactly why it is that I can't hold on the tires. Because it's usually when I'm up front and my heart's beating. Feels like I'm about to have a heart attack because I mean the adrenaline. Like in Outcast the other day, Sunday, I should have had second, but I got wrecked by this guy named CJ. 100 feet from the finish line, ended up finishing fifth.
All right, dude. So
I
we're going to talk some truth real quick.
all right.
All right, because you're saying like, oh yeah, I was up front and he was just nervous as hell. Do you remember? Was it Auto Club that we did together in the trucks, or was it Chicagoland?
In the league or not league?
No, just you and me. We went into an open together.
It was the B Open, and we
Where
were at
was it though?
Auto Club.
Auto Club.
Or no, it was the
So
fixed. It was a fixed. It was trucks. Yes.
yeah, because you damn near led every lap.
Yeah.
So so
I got pole that
obviously
race, and then I led like that whole race.
right. So when you were up front, you were like, oh yeah, man, I'm just cruising. Question number one was that bullshit? You were just fucking playing it off. You were nervous as hell.
No, so if I'm in the lead and it's like if I get the pole, I'm nervous as fuck. Sorry, sorry about my
It's
language.
we'll make sure it's
Um,
not for kids.
I was super nervous at the start. I'm always if I get the pole, I mean I'm a wreck, dude. I'm like, am I gonna mess this up? Am I gonna go too early? Because I've gotten one black flag where I left early, and it sucks. And so if I start in the lead and I get good enough lead from these guys, I don't I don't get excited like I do when I'm fighting to get up there and then I get there. I'm a lot cooler once I'm up front. I just chill. I literally just run a line and try and hit it every time and take care of my tires because if you're up front and no one's around you, why run it hard? So that
Right.
race I was just doing that same thing and then I was even talking to you like telling you what I was doing and you were like trying it and you were getting there and then what'd you do? You got second.
So that was going to be my next question. I didn't rattle your cage at all when I was because I got to your bumper.
Honestly,
I
I was excited because you were up there with me and you were fighting. I mean,
that dude that was, and I'm not saying this because we're in a podcast together or I like you or anything like that. Like that was probably the funnest race I've had here. 100%.
yeah, dude, that was a good race.
That I mean that we were just shooting the shit, talking smack about everybody else out there in Discord with everybody else in there talking. And we're sitting here yelling at Striker like, dude, we're chop shop 1-2, baby, because we had our paint schemes on,
Yeah.
and it's just like, dude, it was so much fun
See, and
because that it doesn't happen often.
that's why I always try and get these guys to do the opens. I mean, usually the opens are a lot better than the fixed. You want a setup? I'll give you a setup. I mean, I'll find you one somewhere. I'll go dumpster diving if I got to. I mean, ain't scared. I mean,
We're
but
not going to disclose what dumpster diving is on
I
YouTube.
don't, yeah, that's
They'll
beyond
fix it.
GameStop. Anyways, but I mean, that's why I was trying to get these guys to do opens, because we have funner time going into some random race with random people than we do, it feels like, when we're with the people that we race with every week, that we know that how they're going to race. We know that they're going to do this in 6 laps, they're going to fall back, so just take it easy. I mean, I think that's where we all have the best time. Some of the best nights are doing just random officials. I mean, sometimes we're up until 4 o'clock in the morning just racing, just having fun. We're all laughing. We're not even freaking tired because we're just having fun. I mean, I just, yeah.
Well, it's just, like last night we were just doing our thing, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to bed." I looked at the clock. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, I'm probably going to go too. And Striker's like, "What, man? It's only 9." It was like midnight. I'm like, "Brother, it ain't 9.
Yeah,
It's late."
that's the worst part, is you guys are on the East Coast and me and Stryker are on the West Coast, so we're
I
always
know.
up later than ever, or I
I,
guess earlier than you guys.
yeah, because I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to bed," and you guys are like, "What the hell, man? It's only midnight." And you're like, "Oh shit, no, it's 2 a.m. over where he's at."
Right? Yes.
That's a bunch of pricks
Uh,
trying to get me sidetracked so I stay up later. No, it's that we do. I think you're right. I think we need to do that a lot more. I think,
we have a
and
better
obviously,
time bonding doing that than us getting pissed off at each other for wrecking someone or something.
well, and I think I think that's what we kind of need to draw the line in the sand, right? Is hey man, we're gonna go do officials on non-league nights and just have a blast. But come league night, ain't nobody friends in here. It's all nothing but competitiveness. John and Stryker are really close, and during the regular season, they're going to race each other as hard as they can. Come playoffs, if one guy's ahead of the other or whatever, that's when you're going to start seeing, the friendship mold over to where somebody's going to help the other person. John did help Stryker out as much as he could to get him that truck championship. So
Right.
I think it's just not an ego thing. It's just a competitive nature.
That's why I enjoy racing in the NSR league with you guys on Saturdays, because that league makes us have to practice during the week if we even want to just show up and not get lapped 9 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we're
Corey Hines
all
is a
having
monster,
fun
dude.
doing them together. Sometimes we're all in the same race, sometimes we're all in our own race. I mean, still fun.
There was one night me and Church was running them stupid Volkswagen Beetles on like a road course
Yeah,
jumps and
the
all this crap.
Daytona.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, I did that one time and he's like, "Oh, I'll go do it with you." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then
he's hooked.
next thing I know, 5 hours later goes by and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, lost track of time."
Dude, Church would choose those over anything else we were trying to do that whole week just so he would do it. And he did, like, I
I,
want to say, like 40 races of just that
uh,
track and that car. Dude, he loved it.
oh,
Uh,
dude, it was so much fun. Then
Everyone started doing it with him. And
oh, him. Did you
Hammond,
get into that? Did you get in the race with me,
yeah,
Striker, with
Hammond
that
was in there, I think,
enduro,
too. In the
with
what?
that enduro race or whatever, where you could just like pick any car?
Uh-uh.
Oh, dude, that was a first experience too. It's like every car was available on one track, and it was a dirt track.
What are you going to
so
choose? I mean,
so get this shit. My stupid ass picks a sprint car.
yeah.
The
You
church,
couldn't even
what
hit the
did?
throttle because there's someone in your way, I bet.
No, dude, and it was open wheel, so I touched anything, I flipped. so I figured like dirt. I'm like, oh yeah, let's get a sprint car. Not thinking about so Stryker gets in a big old Cadillac, like the Cadillac
Oh,
car.
the CTV or whatever.
Yeah, dude, that thing weighs like 5,000 pounds. Like people would run into him full throttle and he wouldn't move. He'd just keep going.
That's awesome.
And I can't remember what Church got. Church got some stupid. I think he got a late model or something, and he did okay. But dude, the car that won was like the smallest IndyCar looking fucking car out of all the cars. Cause like the leader would come around or the leaders would come around, so we would all like everybody was just hitting each other to throw people back. Everybody in that room was trying to hit this stupid little IndyCar, and it's just
That's awesome.
oh, dude, it was weird, dude. But it was awesome. I didn't even know they offered those.
Huh. Oh, wait, are those the radicals?
Yeah,
The little Ford little radical thing?
yeah.
Yeah, those are fun on Nürburgring.
Oh man, that's
I don't
that's
like
a
road
good time.
racing, but I'll race Nürburgring.
Um, I I I I didn't even ask this in the beginning. I mean, I know, but not everybody does. Um, I always ask three things: what do you do for a living? How old are you? And where are you racing out of?
Oh, I'm 39. I live in a place called Tacoma, Washington. It's about 40 minutes south of Seattle. Um, I am a certified welder. Um, we also do hydraulic work and upfit vehicles for the city of Seattle. We basically build all their fleet cars, semis. Right now we're building dump trucks. We've got 4 of them. We're on our third one in 3 weeks. Um, yeah, a lot of custom work, a lot of, you know, fabrication and whatnot in there. Press brakes, torches, cut, plasma. I mean, we have laser tables that make our own parts for the dump trucks and stuff. I mean, we got a lathe. I mean, full blown shop. There's like 8 of us, and we just knock it out of the park every time.
How long have you been welding for?
Let's see, I went to welding school in 2012, graduated 2013, and I've been working since 2013. This place I've been at for almost, this spring will be, I think, 3 years.
Okay. Did I mean this is a really stupid question. Um, is that is that what you wanted to do, for a living, or did it just kind of it happen?
So I used to do a lot of four wheeling. Had a Jeep, ended up trading. I traded a pair of jet skis that were about to blow up, early '90s ones. I traded my Raptor 700 for these 2 jet skis this summertime. I was like, can't do anything with my friend with this one quad. Let's get jet skis. So got those, and I forgot what we're talking about again.
How was welding what you wanted
Oh,
to do for a career?
so
Did you fall
so
into?
anyways, on that Jeep that I traded the jet skis for, or I ended up trading the jet skis for this Jeep, and my buddy brought over his welder, and I welded up the rear end and the gears, the spiders, and always wanted to do it, never did it, didn't have a welder. He brought it over, and we welded that sucker with bolts and nuts, everything inside there, so that shit wasn't coming out. And ever since then, I just wanted to learn how to weld, and I'd watch welding videos, and met my wife, and she pressured me into going back to school, because at the time I was having a hard time losing my father, so I didn't really work for probably 2 years. I just got by. Um, she encouraged me to go to school, so I got into welding school because I was like, what else? I mean, I loved welding, so went into welding, and ever since then, it's so easy to me. It just comes to me. I mean, it's just easy. I just love doing it.
Are are you are you federally licensed too?
What do you mean?
So, can you do work for the government?
I could if my job required my certification,
Okay.
but what we do at our job is we don't build buildings or like structures that hold weight. That's what I'm
Okay.
certified for 1 inch and above overhead. So I'm unlimited cert, so I can do any position anywhere.
All MIG, I'm assuming.
No, kind of. It's dual shield.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's pretty
So,
strong
well,
launch.
and I don't know if you even know this about me, but I'm also certified. Because I worked for a fab shop back home, and a lot of the work we did was for the Corps of Engineers. Like we did all those dams in California and everything. Um, so I had to get what they called DDR4, or not DDR4, DD4 certified. So I could stack welds up to 6.5 inch thick steel,
Yeah.
um, which I don't think we ever did 6 inch. That's
No,
fucking insane.
no. The biggest
The
I've done is
thickest
like 3.
the thickest I think I can remember is 4.5, something like that. But they were I beams for Bolivar gates, so I mean they had to have as thick as whatever. And I don't know if you've ever done work for anybody ever for the Corps of Engineers, but they have a set of rules all on their own. Like they don't fall. I mean they're worse than OSHA, and so we have to use flux core, then we have to break the skag away, and then we have
That's the
to
one with the
have it.
purple light, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that crap. It's poppy.
Yeah, you know, and we have to we have to trace worm trails and air pockets and make sure we're burning, an up to 1/8 of an inch in both sides. I mean, just stupid crap. You can't do the same bead over. It has to be something different every time. It was stupid. But it's weird because for me, and I want to know if this goes for you too. Do you get lost in it when you flip your hood down? Is it just like it kind of like driving a car? When you're racing, you get tunnel vision. You don't notice anything going on except for what's in front of you.
When my mask's down, it's actually my worst enemy.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Why is it?
The whole time you're welding, what are you doing? You get into the rhythm. You're like a robot, and you can do it, right?
Right.
The whole time you have your hood down, you have all that time to just think.
Yeah.
So doing that while after losing my mom was really hard. My boss knew, so I did more doing like wet kits, putting on semis and stuff, doing one off like brackets and stuff that we bend up and cut out on the laser, so their filter looks pretty cool in there. Um, that's why it's my worst enemy, man. Just too much time to think, and you got your headphones in and you're just rocking out, building stuff. I mean, like I said, you get in that zone and you don't even realize you're welding. You're just thinking about, oh, should I get a cup of coffee maybe tomorrow morning? I mean, it might be random, but sometimes it's just my worst enemy. Just sucks, gives me anxiety.
And I wouldn't even have thought about that honestly, but it does make sense because I know there was times, like we were doing beams, like when you have to stack, 64 welds on top of themselves just to build it and then flip that whole thing over and do it again in the middle of that 60. There's times where I didn't remember doing half the passes. And I'm like, shit, did I beat the skag off of it? Just dumb stuff like that. Because if they came in and x-rayed, I have to gouge all that back out and do it again. And then, you lose a ton of time there. So I get it 100%.
So
Um,
I actually get a hard time at work because the best way you can beat that is a loud radio.
so you just have it screaming.
Some days, me and my boy Falcon, we call him Falcon, little guy. He's like 5'3", little guy. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Comes off as the biggest dick, but anyways, he'll always be, hey, turn this Mexican song on because he speaks Spanish. So he's out there just singing these songs in Spanish, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, the other guys are like, turn that shit down, and so he goes over there and cranks my radio up even more. I mean, like today, my boss hates rap. I really don't care. What were we doing? We were listening to all the good songs, Too Short and
Oh,
Dre and Ice
oh
Cube, and
yeah.
he was just hating it because we had that shit blaring in the shop. But yeah, that's how I fix that sometimes is just really loud music, either headphones or my radio.
Well, and I mean, yeah, it's you gotta do what you gotta do, but it yeah, like they always say, even time heals all wounds. I mean, it just everything takes a shitload of time.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, we got Sleepy Joe up there that takes too much time getting out of the White House, but it is what it is.
Yep.
To get into let's get into Chop Shop.
Let's do it.
Because Jerry has opinions.
Oh,
Jerry has opinion
yes, sir.
about everything. There ain't nothing in this world Jerry ain't got an opinion about.
Yeah.
That stupid damn shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, oh yeah, Wolfpack. Probably won't be able to see it, but yeah, those are 3 wolves.
Oh, 3 wolves. Yeah, we can't see it because I thought it was only 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're obviously close with everybody because you are so active, in the league. I mean, because like you said, you're on every single day, which is awesome. Because when you're not, everybody's asking, "Where's Jerry?" Like
Right.
it just ain't. It ain't the same because you bring like this light with you of energy, and it's like, even if everybody's having a bad day, 9 times out of 10 you can calm a cat down. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know if it's that stupid ass laugh, but you calm people down. What do you what what do you think the league as a community, with all the resources they have and assets, where do you think they're going to go from here? Like, what do you think's going to change? What don't you want to change?
I don't know. I just don't
Do you like where it's going?
yeah, it's busy for sure. I mean, got to pick my battles with my wife. I mean, it's one thing if I'm just sitting here hanging out, if I'm racing every day, like sometimes, oh man, I'll hear about it. And it's just like,
You ain't the only one. Your good buddy hears about it
it's
too.
like, what do you want me to do? I mean, this is my happy place. I'm sorry. You want me to come out there, yell at the kids, yell at you, and then everyone's pissed off, and what are we doing? We're watching freaking cartoon for a 2-year-old. I mean, really? Yeah, I'm gonna sit on my computer.
Well, and I mean, dude, it's so hard to it.
But
It's hard to balance it out sometimes.
it doesn't matter where it's gonna go or what's gonna change or whatever. I ain't going nowhere. I mean,
So you're a chop shop lifer.
it's hard to. So when I first got on iRacing, I had 5 friends: Ryan, Craig, Michael, um, Steve, and what's his name? Chris Wilson. How we are in Chop Shop right now was how us 4 were running this other league. Um, after everything with COVID, they left. I still talk to Craig every once in a while on Snapchat or something, but this place is friendships that we've gained and met people to where, like, hey, let's go fly to a race and hang out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it means more to me than you guys will ever know. Like I said, you guys helped me through a lot of everything these last couple months. And if I piss you off, I'm sorry. Usually stoned. So, I mean, just trying to have fun
I
time.
I don't think anybody takes anything
But
crazy personally.
sometimes I joke around John, and I know he's like pissed off at me, and it's just like, yeah. But you know, at the end of the day, we get over it. We say sorry. This isn't just a community. Us guys that are on all the time with each other, Nate, Church, you, Stryker, Hammond. There's a couple other people I could name, but right now my mind's yeah. So, but those guys, you guys, you guys aren't just friends. You guys are more than friends. I mean, friendship means a lot to me. Always has. I try to be the kindest person I could be, can be. Um, you don't got it and I got it. Here, try it out. Oh, you like it? Keep it. I'll get another one. Can I afford it? Probably not, but hey, who knows? I'd give anything like church. I gave him my old VR set. And then Joseph needed a mic, so I gave him a mic. It wasn't the best one, but hey, it worked for a while. I mean, if I got it, you want it, I'll give it to you. I mean, you guys, I don't even know how to describe it.
What I had a question. You made me forget the damn thing, asshole. Um, uh, oh, so you said you were running a league. How'd you find out about Chop Shop? Like, I mean,
So,
because people don't just stumble across leagues.
so I race in a league called the RSR league over on Tuesdays, which is starting up here soon. Um, I've ran with them for almost the whole time I've been on iRacing. I helped start it, helped run it for a while. Being an admin, I like the power. I just don't like doing anything. I'll vote on stuff. I'll do whatever, but I ain't making graphics. I don't know how to do that shit. You want me to do? Not me. I'm a welder. I mean, but we ran that league, and then I'm still in it to this day. I mean, still run over there. Yeah, I forgot.
How'd you find out about
Oh,
Chop
Chop
Shop?
Shop. So one of the guys that we raced with, Steve, one of the good friends of mine, he left iRacing for like a year, and then he came back, and we started up a, oh, what was it? It was like a throwback league in the Gen 4 cars. Um, and then he joined Chop Shop, and he goes, "Oh yeah, come over here. You know they're recruiting, and they'll probably take you." And that was in the fall of 2021, going into 2022. It was around my birthday, I remember, and started racing over here with him. And then from there, me and him started hanging out in Chop Shop. Striker was there and John, and we just hung out and just hit it off, and just been here since. I mean, yeah, I am the enforcer on the comms now.
Hey, clear comms.
Yep,
Need you to clear them right now.
it's usually only when Kobe's talking.
That shit was phenomenal. I, jeez,
Even at one point,
just
someone's like, "Hey, you're not gonna clear my comms?"
it just I could just picture you going over there one day and just mute, mute, mute. You guys have been in timeout for 10 minutes. Your privileges will be back.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, you've been in Chop Shop for a while then.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably be considered as like one of the OGs right now. You have
I
more
get.
time.
Yeah.
Obviously you've seen it grow a lot.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
And
grown a lot.
what I mean, do you have any opinions on what could change, what you'd like to see different?
No,
I mean, you're pretty happy with the status
basically
quo.
the way that this sanctioning body is doing is they're asking people what they want to do. We started road racing. We had an Xfinity club league. I mean, we have Gen 4 leagues. We've had, I mean, it's what the people wanted. Like the majority of the group that all hang out, we kind of like Stark will be like, oh, church is like, oh, we need to start a dirt league. We need to start a dirt league. And then they start a dirt league and it's kicking ass. I mean, truck league, always been there. That kicks butt every Tuesday night. It has a full freaking field. I
It's
mean,
busy.
it's just, they ask what we want to try. We try it out. It works out. It's super lates. I mean, where'd that come from? I mean,
I don't know. I hate the prick that thought about it though.
well, up to me, we would have been doing legends. Love those little things.
They are fun. I
Dude,
mean,
put them on some of them short little road courses, dude. Those things are challenging. I used to be in a league in the Legends on Thursdays, and all we did was Legends in a different road course.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
dude, it was fun.
Um, you're you're having an all right season so far. I mean, do you think it's better than what you thought it would be?
What, the trucks?
Yeah.
Uh, I'm here to have fun, man. Sometimes if I am high enough on the ladder, yeah, I'm gonna try harder to get points and stuff like this. But usually I burn my tires up before stage, so it's kind of hard to get points and get up there real quick and stuff, and then stay there. I don't know, just I guess. I mean, I love the trucks. I always have. Always had a heart for them because my first win on iRacing was in the trucks at Chicagoland.
That's why you're so goddamn good at that place.
Yeah,
It makes more
like
sense.
just
Who? Sorry, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, like, just like tonight in the Cup cars at Chicagoland, I was up there. I was third. I mean, could have took first, but I
Should
was
have
trying
took
to save my
first.
tires because I knew this guy was burning the crap out of his. So I was like, I'm gonna go a little softer than him. And
And
then someone got around me on the outside, and then it just trained me back and just yeah.
yeah, but what threw you in the back was your pit.
Oh yes, my pit because I was speeding the pits, but then I got back up there. But then I got freight train being on the inside on the
Oh,
restart, and I got shuffled all the way
yeah.
back to like 18th, and then that Bruno guy took me out.
Yeah, if you don't have freshies and you're on the inside line, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
'Cause those things like to push. Who do you think in the league is? I don't want to say rival because I think that's a bad word. I think rivals like when there's bad blood between two people. That's kind of how I look at it. Who do you think like your biggest competition is? You know, like because the way I look at our league is in groups, right? Like there's a group of fast guys, middle guys, a little slower than slow. And I try to always compare myself in the group that I'm in, kind of like our classes, and like okay, I'm trying to get better than everybody in this group so I can go to the next group, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And kind of work my way up. Um, I don't know if you've ever thought of it like that, but who do you think like the guys? I mean, obviously everybody you want to beat, but who do you think like you're like, oh man, I gotta try out running this guy. I can't let him beat me for whatever reason. Maybe you're at the same skill level or whatever. Who do you think that competition is for you?
Uh, I don't really have anybody. I mean, you never know what's going to happen each race.
Yeah.
Nate's been wrecked out of multiple races, which changed the whole race. People were fighting harder because Nate crashed. I mean, I don't really put myself in a middle, back, or front kind of guy. I mean, I could be in either one of them. I mean, some tracks just eat me alive. Some tracks I do very well at. Um, I don't really have a rival. I guess if I did in the trucks, it'd probably be Alex Thompson for that one time he took me out.
You're like
Not
I'm
because
over
I
it,
got to
but
be
I'm never
better
gonna
or
forget it.
anything, but because I put so much time into that track and then I only made it 20 seconds. It hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, that would.
Nothing against him. It's just that's
Well, you know, my it's weird. Like even for me, it's weird because I've gotten taken out by the people I wouldn't even think I would get taken out by.
right. Like
It's
Joseph.
yeah,
Mm,
unfortunately Nate was racing for a truck championship and he ran right through me,
right.
and I felt horrible because I was like, fuck, dude, I got loose coming out of the corner, and like he was there, and like I went and I apologized to him, and he's like, nah, man, I had plenty of time to avoid it, I was just in a hurry. But it's the good thing about Chop Shop just in general is there's not many people that hold on to stuff like that, and most of the time, even if you get into it, like you said, me and John's gotten into it many, many, many times, and we're fine, right after the conversation. It's just you cultivate personalities together like that, and you kind of feed off each other, whether you're in anger or happiness or whatever, and it just kind of, and it's learned over time. Obviously, you got. I might have a big mouth, but sometimes I bite my tongue.
I
It's pretty rare,
I
but I
gotta
do.
tell you, I love listening to you and John before the race. Like, oh, look who's right in front of me, Mr. Hammond, and you just, you know how they get his gears going, and then he's all excited, and then you're hoping that he just messes up or something, maybe, and
Yeah.
oh, look, I'm in front of you, and then he just gets his anger from below and just drives through everybody. I mean,
But it's like a friendship
yes,
competition,
it is.
It's yeah, man. Listen.
You guys are
That's
playing who has the bigger
75.
dick.
Exactly. Wait till these next gens come up, buddy. That freaky fast car is going to be freaky slow behind whatever car I decide to build. My goal is to get John to paint it and then beat him with
Oh,
it.
there you go. Yep.
Don't tell him I said that. He probably won't watch the podcast in
Probably
time
not.
enough for him to paint
Don't
it.
know if he
So
knows
I
how
think I
to
got.
use this kind of technology.
I think
With his 5 screens and shit. That's crazy. You can't even look at that many screens at once. That's crazy.
he was saying that shit tonight too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, honestly, man, it's kind of distracting.
That's nuts, dude. I could only dream of having something like that, man.
I what did he say in return? He's like, oh, I put these two up so they cover the holes in the walls. So stupid like that. I was like, but you didn't cover up the ones on the floor. He goes, hey, don't read into my shit.
Oh, that's funny.
We're talking about. It's funny because we're talking about instances during the races and whatnot, of what you enjoy. I want to tell you one of my favorite all times that I love the absolute most. And don't read into this too much, but
Here, hold
the
on.
best way, you're not the fastest guy in the league.
Mm-mm.
You're probably middle pack
I'm
kind of guy,
far from it.
right? And no one expects to see you leading the race, above everybody. But when we were all in the group and everybody was qualifying for that race, and at the very last second,
I even
you
waited.
decide to lay down the fastest lap in the group and just go. That's what I think about you
Wasn't it the
boys.
championship race in the next gens? It was
Yes,
the last
you
race.
just. I told everybody in that room, I'm like, he just bitch slapped every single person
Yep.
in this room.
Yep. And I was even in my
Like,
own chat room because I wanted to do good that race, and boom, I did really good.
that was the biggest flip off I have ever seen in my life. But it was coming out of a friendly area,
Right.
Like you were like, you guys. No one expects Jerry to pull off the pole, especially with everybody. And he just goes out there and whacks
You want to know
everybody.
something even better than that?
What's that?
That was my first lap, and I got pole, and I just pulled over and stopped.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, nope,
Did
I'm not
he?
even gonna go. I just pulled over and just got out.
I hope. Did the broad? I didn't watch that broadcast, but did they catch that?
No, it just showed my time go up to the top, and then it's like, boom.
That's still, dude. That was the funniest thing I had ever seen. Because I mean, dude, it shocked me. I didn't think you were qualifying.
Yep. I waited the last minute because so that week, some of these leagues that I do outside of Chop Shop, they all follow mainly the officials. And that just so happened that that championship race lined up with being the official that week. So, I mean, I did like 3 different league races there, and I figured the track out, and I just went out blazing. And practice, I was even the fastest person in practice.
Oh,
I mean,
dude, you were tearing it
I
up.
mean, it just came to me. I just spent so much time there. I just felt comfortable, and then I go out there and I would get pole, and then I just hear you guys like, oh, you just drug your dick all across his face.
Oh, that was, dude.
Because John was
It
talking
was.
smack. I think he's like, you ain't gonna get pole. So I muted myself and I went out and I got that shit on one lap, and then everyone, it was all quiet except for you, and they're instigating shit.
Oh, dude, I was stirring, dude, stirring it.
And
Like,
Striker's
what's
up there
friends
like,
for,
ooh,
man?
look at the heaters.
Oh, dude, that was,
Ugh.
dude, that was phenomenal. That made my night. Which I think's one of the things that everybody loves about you is because you're unpredictable. We don't know from 1 minute to the next what the hell's going to come out of your mouth. All we know is we'll hear cha-ching, gay. We're like, oh, the show is about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Ready or not, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It's about to go down.
Who are you, the new guy? Oh, hey, boop, laser beams.
You know what's funny?
Like that turtle guy. I was like, who's talking right now? Who the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm Turtle. I'm like, what the fuck kind of name is that?
you know, it's funny because it's funny because when I went to the pits tonight and I'm like, oh shit, tits. And I moved it real quick.
Now, if you don't know, I got a pair of boobies that my friend painted onto my pit board, and
The problem,
you won't
see, and
miss your
here's
pit board ever.
and here that's the thing, dude. Like, you qualified first that one time and flipped everybody off, and then tonight again, I'm not used to you qualifying up front. You qualified third,
Yep.
and I go to the pit window right there in front of me, and I'm like, oh shit, switch the page. So, anyways, I tell you like, hey, good broadcast, blah blah blah. We're gonna do the podcast tonight. I'm like, hey, I gotta go get some things together. So I get off, and my wife's like, whose boobs? And I was like, no, one of the guys in the league, you know, paints his cars, but you can paint your pit box too, and you can put, you know, pretty much any
Hawkers.
image on there you want. This is what she said. She goes, God damn it, it was Jerry, wasn't it?
Well, I even told you the pickup line to tell her, and she goes, Jerry said that, didn't he?
Oh, dude,
He's
listen,
catching on.
my wife's never spoke to you, talked to you, seen you, nothing, and I think she likes you.
That's good.
She's like, this fucking Jerry guy. And I'm like, dude, if there's anybody I want to have a sleepover with, I'm gonna bring Jerry over. Just
Yeah, and I get the top bunk. Listen to that fucker creak all night long, thinking if you're gonna die or not.
we'll make some steak and asparagus,
Oh,
dude,
dude,
and just
yeah.
drink beer and have a good night.
Oh yeah, nice ribeye.
Yeah, dude. You know what's awesome? We down here in Florida, and where I'm located, there are ranches everywhere, and these ranches have been passed down from generation to generation for as long as time. And one of the largest cow producers in the country, her ranch is like, I don't know, like 15 miles away or something like that. And my wife met her at church, and we were in a tough spot. Like, I couldn't really, you know how it is when you're paying bills. Sometimes you got to decide, do you want a roof to live under or do you want food in your stomach, you
Or
know?
do you want to get
And
gas to get to your job for the rest of the week? Like on top of all
exactly.
those.
Right. So we were in one of them situations, and I don't know what my wife said to anybody. I'm not a church person myself, but she is. And next thing I know, like the next day, we got 50 pounds of steak just given to us.
Nice.
And they still do it like every month now. They just give us, I mean, the most we got was like 200 pounds. And it's like, what the hell? And there was a few weeks where that's all we ate every single day was steak,
Yep.
which I ain't complaining, but there's good people out there still, you
So
know.
I used to work for this place called SN Enterprises, and one of the owners used to grow cattle and pig and stuff, and He would every year he would give a bunch of employees just meat. He's like, here, take it to your families.
Yeah, dude, those are good people, and obviously
We
you're
actually
one of them.
raced quarter midgets with his daughter also.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a big. I mean, do they race on dirt or pavement?
We
I
have
can't
a
remember.
120th asphalt, but there's also dirt tracks that we go to.
Hmm.
Some tracks are like a
I don't.
parking lot at a fairground. Sometimes they
So
have their own
do you
racetrack.
guys do you get so do you run like a radial slick, or is it like a DOT with little grooves, or like a
So
Hoosier tire?
so the sanctioning body QMA that we run in, they have a contract with Vega tires. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I know.
Karting tires.
Okay.
We have to have two of their tires on the outside, slicks, and then we can run whatever we want in the inside. Hoosiers,
Okay.
Vegas, Dunlop.
How I have always wondered this
I sent you a picture of
for.
her car.
Yeah, I seen them. I mean, I didn't pay attention to the tires on it at all. How hard are them damn little things to change?
What's that? The tires?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy, man. You got a
Really?
little bead breaker that'll pop bead, and then you got spoons that you can just quick change real quick right there, all in the same thing.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I never knew, because like on my hobby stock car,
If you have a big enough
we
compressor,
use.
you could do one in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, if you really were trying to go fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Because like I said, I ran G60 Hoosers on my stock car, and it was so hard to get the bead to break because the center collapsed too easy.
Yeah.
And you had to fight it and fight it and fight it, and it doesn't matter. Like, bead locks were the best to change because you only had to break one bead.
Right.
It was awesome. But yeah, I've always wondered, because I seen all these guys, and
Well,
I've changed like a lawnmower tire and had to fight it, so I didn't know how bad those little
yeah,
bastards
you
were.
just spin a little nut on, or like even my old boss Nick that we race with, they have a legit fucking tire machine. Tighten it on and it spins it for you. You use the spoons, pops it right off.
They have a tire machine just for
Yes,
those.
sir.
How much are
About
those?
800-900 bucks.
That's fucking insane, dude. What? That's criminal.
Then we also have tire cleaner stands where it's just a motor that spins. You've got like half an axle on there. You just put the tire on and you can clean it. You can groove it. You can get all the rocks off. You can prep it for the next race. You get about four races maybe on the track with tires.
That's awesome. We had a small little cage kart track like that, but they would run. They had an adult class that was like 500 unlimited.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
someone around here owns a barn and they open it up to bring what you got and race. We'll make a class for you. See some
that's
of the crap in
dude.
there.
I tell you what. Well, in this, I mean, obviously the tracks have to be smaller, but when I went there for the first time, because I mean the corners, I mean they're banked,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, man, why are they banked? Even the straightaways, I mean, got a slant to them.
Yep.
And I went there for the first time and watched them. Those dudes were moving. Like, I don't know how fast they were going, but I mean, they were flying around that track. So anyway, long story short, I looked into those things, and I know one of the cool tools that a lot of those guys have are those little lifts with wheels that you can haul
Yeah.
around.
We
I was
pit
looking into
cart.
those. I didn't know that they had a winch that you can literally just hook up to it. It'll pull it up, and then the whole thing's battery powered, and you can like
Yeah.
turn it, and just it'll drive itself. I looked at the prices of those things. I about had a heart attack.
Yeah. If you look at that picture I sent to you, I think last in I don't know if it went to Discord or not.
Let me look here.
I don't know. I don't shows.
Let's see.
Maybe I got to do this.
Where you at?
There.
Oh,
That's the pit cart we run.
so to show everybody at home what we are looking at, this bad boy right here.
Yep. There you go. Open wheel.
That is neat, man. How heavy is that?
So the class that she runs in is, if she's in the car, she has to be 250. So she's about 65 pounds, and then that car is probably 100 and something pounds.
Yeah, that's really neat, man.
It's it's just as
Where
fun for me as it is her.
is there a place where you live that like a store that has all these parts for these, or is it something you have to order every time?
So certain tracks have certain vendors that come there, and all they do is sell parts.
Oh, okay.
Some tracks have their own, like ours is the Geary's, Monroe's, Hamlin. Um, they kind of are the two big ones. They kind of go sell kind of everything. If you need something, they can get it, kind of thing.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Here's one that you sent me.
Yep,
The
that's in
kid's
my
up in
mom's
it there.
garage. That's her old car right there to the left.
How many goddamn zip ties you got on
So
that thing? Were you trying to keep pigeons off of
no,
it or what?
so the last we have a fun race, which is our last race of the season at our track, and it's called Neon Thunder. And what the kids get to do is they get to get lights and any like stuff that won't come off the car. They get to put like
Mm-hmm.
neon lights and crap on the car. So Scarlett, my mom, earlier that day went to Walmart and got all. They picked out all these lights and they decorated like the big balls right there. Those are eyeballs that Scarlett loved. So they got.
Oh, right here. These things
Yeah,
right
and
here.
then
Okay.
down below we had like the LEDs that people put in their walls and their rooms and stuff. We put that all around the
Oh,
bottom of the underside, so it like had underglow, and she had like lights, like sticker lights on her helmet, so her helmet like glowed. I mean, it's pretty.
do,
That's all that
is
stuff
that
is.
during like a is that during like a holiday or is that just a scheduled
No,
race?
so that's like I said, a fun race. Um,
Okay.
it's like our last race of the year. It's just for fun. We do like
That's
we do like an auction with like baskets and stuff that people will make and donate, and they make it like a party. And then after all the kids are done racing, they have what's it called, a handlers racing, or races where the dads and them get in these little freaking cars and go balls out on the track, dude. They like barely are in these things and they're just rolling them or beating the crap out of them. I mean, we'll go until like midnight and they're out there doing that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
See,
It's wild.
even the dads
But that pit
get
cart,
nice.
yep, there's a little Honda motor. It's a 125.
Yeah, there's not a lot to them, is there?
No.
I like that powder coat color.
Oh yeah. That's the Dodge Plum Pearl or whatever, the Chargers gum.
Do you ever catch her out just sitting in that thing ever?
Oh yeah, dude. Especially that one right there in the red one. After
Yep.
Grandma died, so our first car that she had got stolen from our racetrack overnight, and Grandma bought that car for her, which was the same kind but newer. So after my mom passed, she would sometimes, when we'd come over here when we weren't living here yet, and she would just go sit in her car in the garage. So I mean, she does it. She knows.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah, I mean, dude, that's hard for anybody. It's just
It's grieving.
I can't talk like I know because I don't. Um, that's that's awesome though, dude. I hope and I pray that I mean, I have 5 kids, so my odds are pretty damn good. One of them just wants to race
Yeah.
because like I
I'm not lying, Ryan. Looking to see if there's a quarter midget track around you. You you wouldn't thank me. You would have just as much fun as that kid is out there watching these kids race. Setting the cars up, hanging out with all the dads, I mean talking. You'd have
yeah, because
so much
it's
fun.
I'm so because I always say to John, like, John has like severe OCD, and I do too. And it sucks, dude, because like I like before I eat dinner, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to make sure I have something to drink, and I have to have something playing on TV, whether it's YouTube video or whatever, before I can even take a bite off my plate. Like it's I don't know, I'm just messed up. but I've never I've built I built my car, and it was so hard for me to let my best friend, like crew chief, and actually make changes to the car without me looking over his shoulder,
Right.
making sure it's done to my specific standards. And I want to do I never thought about doing that for my kids until now, really, to be honest with you. But I think that'd be a new level, a different kind of fun that I've never had before, to where I'm like, obviously my kid doesn't know, but it gives me an opportunity to teach them, and it gives me an opportunity to learn something new, and it also gives me an opportunity to make that thing bad fast,
Right.
even if my kid makes a mistake, and smoke everybody else out there. I'm excited just thinking about it, to be
Well,
honest
see, and
with you.
that's the cool thing. So we have a track that we go to up in a place called Monroe, which is up north. It's about an hour and a half away. Um, they have a Evergreen Speedway. It's a pretty good track. They have the late models come do a big ass 200 lap race every year for like 10 grand. I mean, some of these kids grow up racing these quarter midgets right next to that big track where they share the same parking lot. I mean, they're at that racetrack. There are 13-year-olds over there racing legend cars. 13. Yeah, like
That's sweet.
they're out there racing these 40, 50-year-old men, smoking them, and they're 13 because they have the experience of these quarter midgets. I mean, look at Logano. He raced in them, and he's proud to talk about it. I
Right.
mean, he's done a lot for the sport. So as NASCAR, like we did the USAC down in Portland when NASCAR came into town. We went down there and did the cookout quarter midget race down there, and then we got to go watch the Xfinity race. It was pretty cool.
And I hate Logano. Like, it's funny that you said that, because I kind of changed my tune with him the other day, because like I've never liked Joey Logano, never. And then I watched that stupid NASCAR Full
Yep,
Speed,
I'm watching it right now. Addicted.
and yeah, I don't know if you got to the part where they get into Joey's kind of past and whatnot, but they all pretty much say the same thing. Like, off the track, he's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever
Yep.
meet, and like you wouldn't even know he's a race car
He looks
driver
like a
because he
nerd.
talks like an insurance
Yeah.
agent, right? And they're talking about, like, but when he puts that lid on, different person comes out completely. And he had a really he ruffled a lot of feathers really quick in the league, especially with Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, and it was either he was going to wreck them or they were going to wreck him, either way. And he never got a time to shine until I think it was a maturity thing as well, but now he's a two-time champion,
Right.
and you can't ever count him out, because he drives so good now. If you look at him now compared to then, you're like, who the hell? Like, no one could push as hard as he does, or he couldn't push as hard as he does now then.
$10 you would talk about him different if he was in a Chevy.
I mean, I wouldn't think he was a homo, but you never know.
Right. See, that's why
Well,
I like Chastain. He's like Ric Flair, and he goes woo. I mean,
see, that's another thing about
he's
that
good, and
stupid
he's a
show.
farmer, and he just got into a race car, and he just happened to be good. I mean,
That was another thing about that damn show. Like, I hated Ross Chastain, but like I respect him now, because like during that show there was no BS at all. 100% truth. You could see it in his
yep,
face. And they showed some clips of people like grabbing, like, I can't remember who grabbed him that he punched in the face, but like you could just see it in his eyes. He's
Gragson.
one of those guys. He's one of those guys, like, he's not scared to throw
No,
hands. He don't care who you
he
are.
gave him
He'll
two
fight you.
warnings. He goes, "Let it go," and me like, and then he punched him. I mean, what
I
else
know.
could you do?
Like, dude, I have more respect for him because of that. Because I can't. I don't remember any times Tony Stewart throwing a hand. He
He would throw
talked
his
a
helmet.
big game. Yeah, he talked a big game, but you wouldn't ever see him do anything. The only time I thought, minus Chastain now, but the only person I thought ever in NASCAR that was like a full blown, I will I will fight, I am not worried about anybody, was Ryan Newman. That dude freaked me out. Like, there was just something about that dude. Like, if he were to snap, you're going 9-9.
Right. And see, that show's also changing my mind. I I just don't like that Hamlin is such a crybaby, but this is showing a different view.
Side of him.
Right.
Well, and they didn't bleep out
No.
anything, which is awesome. But Hamlin, I still don't like Hamlin even after the show. Thank God it didn't make me change my opinion about him. Do I sympathize for him a little bit now? I do. I mean, he's had a hell of a career, and when, like, I don't remember who said it. I think Ryan Blaney said it. Would you rather have 50 wins or 60 or 70 wins and no championship, or would you like to have 15 wins and a championship? And he's like, I would choose 15 wins and a championship versus 70 wins without one.
Right. Yeah.
Which, listen, if I've learned anything about Denny Hamlin, he is just as much of a fan of this sport as you and I are.
Yeah. I've been a
And
fan my whole life. I've only been to an Xfinity race.
dude, I've been a fan my entire life. I've never been to a professional NASCAR race, not once.
So
I
I
mean,
want to go to the
yeah,
Daytona.
I'm in the same boat with you. You know what we need to do, since I live down here? I'm sure I can get tickets at a decent price early enough. I ought to just get like a handful of them and be like, I'll give them to whoever can get down here.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because Allegiant has direct flights all the
Yeah.
time.
Me and Nate were talking about doing that for the championship race. I was gonna rent an Air.
In
Yeah, I
Phoenix?
was gonna rent an Airbnb and last minute kind of do it, but then my wife said no. I had the money, but
Well, and I like we were saying, like we all want to meet up, hang out, go to a race. Dude, I'm pushing for it. I'm pushing for
right.
it. I know Stryker said John's talked about it in the
Uh-huh.
past. Stryker's down for anything all the
Right, as
time.
long as it's in
And
Phoenix.
yeah, listen, man, his Mexican skin can't handle the outside temperatures, anything north of Arizona.
Yeah.
But I think we'll do that, because I mean, or even like a Bristol race, because I know Nate was talking about going there, and I was going to meet up with him, but stuff kind of fell through. And I know Mark Odell's there.
Uh-huh.
I know that
Rayburn.
Rayburn's there. I think Grijalva's in Georgia.
He was. I think he went back to New Mexico now that he's out of the military.
Oh,
I
did
think
he?
so.
But
Not positive.
John's in Ohio. Huh?
I said I'm not positive if Joe's back or wherever he lived, Texas or.
But I mean, there's a lot of people, anyways, in that area that I know would go, even if those guys that were super far away couldn't go.
Right.
You know. Well, I know you though. You could live in Hawaii and you'd find a way
Oh, I'll find a way.
to get to an event like that.
Dude, I've always wanted to go to Daytona ever since Days of Thunder, man, where they show opening garage doors and that. I just want to see that. I want to be able to walk through the pits and just be in the pits the whole fucking time the whole race is going.
See, well, I don't like, so every year, like obviously I'm excited for the season to start this year. But do you use the NASCAR app, the radio deal, and the NASCAR app? It's like $7.99 for the year, and you can listen to any radio you want.
So me and my mom used to have Nextels. I remember I was just graduated. It was like 2003, and we had the Nextels just so we could listen to that crap on it. Because when race would come on with those Nextels, you could pick a thing, and you could just sit there and listen to their communications. It was pretty sweet. I mean, do I have it now? No, I don't need it.
Like I said, dude, just use the NASCAR app, man. $8.
Yeah.
So what I do, I Bluetooth it to one of my speakers in the house, and I'll have my speaker sitting right next to my head, cranked up on Kyle Larson, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the race, and I'm like, I'll be texting my best friend, because we put money on every race. if we think a driver has a chance, we'll put $5-10 on every race. You bet on 5 drivers, one of them wins. It normally, sometimes you make a little money, sometimes you break even, but I don't lose a lot of money doing it. And I'll be texting them. I'm like, oh, damn it, man. Kyle Larson has a loose wheel and blah, blah, blah. And then, like 10 minutes later, it'll pop up. Maybe not that long, but 5 minutes later, it'll pop up on the TV because, the radio's ahead.
Right.
And it happens, but I like knowing what's going on with him and in the car, because like there's times where he's like, oh yeah, man, I'm just gonna sit back here and hang out. I'll wax these guys when it's time to go, and then near the end of the race, there he goes, going right up to the front. So it's I love it, dude. I love it.
Right.
Or if I see two people getting it, like when Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick was getting into it, I was in between them fucking radio stations the whole time. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. They're going to fight at the end.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott is a crybaby, by the way. Like, he's probably as bad as Denny Hamlin.
Right.
He's always pouting about somebody touching him. All right, so before we end, I got 2 questions for you.
All right, sir.
Who you voting for, and who's winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, the Super Bowl's, who cares? All Super Bowl's saying is, hey, next weekend there's racing. I mean,
my man.
What was your other question? Who
you voting
for? Probably Trump.
Probably
I mean,
Trump.
Why wouldn't
I? Hey, you want to make America great again?
Right, I would love to, but it's hard to live around, all these Democrats around here in Washington State, dude.
Well, you know what? I think Oklahoma is the only state that could say like, oh yeah, even in the city we're red. I mean, but Florida, Jacksonville, Daytona, Miami, all blue.
Yeah, it only decides here on one county, and that's King County because it's the biggest, most populated. So that's basically what runs our state.
Where is Seattle in King County?
So Seattle's in King County. I live in Pierce County. Pierce County is right below King County on the water.
I don't. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. But I remember you were playing a flying simulator, and you were showing church.
Yeah, flight simulator.
Right where you lived, and I was watching it, and I'm like, holy smokes, man! He has to have like some of the best fishing in the world.
Oh yeah.
Right where he's.
You don't understand. So we have the Puget Sound where the water comes in. It's a huge inlet off of the ocean, formed by glaciers. Who knows how long ago? I mean, it's pretty sweet. I mean, drive boat 5 minutes down to the boat launch and go out in the saltwater. You can be fishing for salmon no time. All the rivers that we have around here, dude. You go to any river in the fall, salmon. Right now, steelhead's about to kick up, so I'll probably be doing that here soon.
It's like, I know down here, like we have a freshwater license.
Yeah, we have both.
We have a saltwater license.
We have both.
Yeah. Are those pretty cost effective?
I mean, depends. Like, we go out, we'll go shrimping out at our Hood Canal place, get shrimp every year. Take the kids fishing all the time out in the boat. Get our fish. I don't eat fish, but I'll smoke it and give it to people for Christmas.
Do you need my address?
If you like smoked salmon, sure.
Hell yeah, man! I love smoked anything.
Oh yeah, I make it like candy.
You can put dog turd up there and smoke it. I'd probably eat it.
I wouldn't do that. That's gross.
I used to have a guy at work that would smoke cheese. I'm not even 1,000% sure on how the hell you do that with without melting it and whatnot, but he did cheddar, dude.
It's called
I ate a whole block of cheese and I didn't shit for a month.
It's called cold smoking. Yeah, I use my little chief for that.
So you can do that too?
Yeah.
Is it harder than smoking meat, or
no.
Is it easier?
So basically, you just control the heat on like a hot pad, basically, in this little metal box that has racks in it. You just put it on the highest rack, and you just try and get that wood to burn as slow as you can, low enough heat.
Huh.
It's called cold smoke.
I would never known that.
Yep. Basically, you're making smoke basically, and by the time it's getting to the cheese, it's barely heating it up, so it's not going to melt it. But that cheese is sucking all that flavor in.
I do have one more question for you that I haven't asked anybody. What was the New Year's resolution?
Haven't really had one.
Well, I mean, you had to have some. It might not have been a resolution, but like, what is your what's your goal? What do you want to achieve this year?
Well, just to be a better person. Not necessarily a better person, but just try not to have as much anger as sometimes I do. I mean, yeah, been through a lot lately, but it's not an excuse. Just trying to be better.
Well, and I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to that, because if you're not working on yourself, what are you doing with your
Right.
life? Because I mean, it, somebody's involved in somebody's life that it's either going to benefit them or it's not, and I don't want to be the reason my kid can't read or whatever it is,
Right.
so like mine this year was to get back into shape and to be a better father. And the problem with that is not that I'm a horrible father, it's just I need to spend more time with my kids
Yep.
anyways
Same boat.
and do activities and whatnot, is like you guys are my family too. So it's you gotta weigh this shit out. And I'm fortunate enough that my wife is like super supportive. Clearly, even though yours might get on your ass from time to time, if she wasn't super supportive, you wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right. She knows
So
it means a
kudos to
lot.
the wives out
Yeah,
there.
she knows it means a lot, so she lets me do it.
One of these days, you're going to have to get her in the Discord. Just let her race under your
She won't
name.
do it. I don't
Why?
know. I always try, dude. I've always
I'll get my wife to
I've
do
always
it.
tried to get her to
That way
do
she
those
has
like
somebody else
wives
to.
races in the past, like Daytona, and she wouldn't do it. She'd rather watch
You
me
know,
do it than do it, but she doesn't even watch me.
you know what's funny about like the wives race is in our real cars and our hobby stocks, our track would put on. We would do our regular race for the night. Then we would have what they call a mechanics race, and then what we'd have is what was it, the lady marathon or something like that, is where the wives would run our cars. So my I'm like 5'10". I'm not the tallest guy in the world at all, maybe 5'11". My best friend is 6'2", 6'3". Like, he big boy. So he he jumps in my car, and like everything's I told him, like, hey man, like, I know the car frontwards and backwards, but watching it is one thing. Doing it is another thing. I'm like, this thing is nasty. It's fast. Take it easy. And, I'm giving him as many pointers in 5 seconds as I possibly can,
Right.
So, because I don't want my car destroyed. I just won the race, So, like, let's keep it in one piece. So I'm like, man, it's going to start turning before you get there. Just catch it and just let her go. And, dude, he goes out first lap, passes everybody in turn one, just had her mashed. I'm like, damn, he can drive this thing. And then loops it in 3 and 4, gets back up going, catches 2 or 3 people, goes back 3 or 4, loops it
Oh boy.
again. And he comes, and honestly, we're only going 85, 90 or whatever, but on dirt sideways, that's pretty quick. And he gets back in the pits and he's just shaking like crazy. And he's like, I wonder how hard you actually do drive that, because I've driven it into the corner so hard that my left tires would come up off the ground and everybody would think I was going to roll it. So he's like, I just don't understand, how you drive it so hard. So, anyways, we get done with that, and it's time for my wife to race. And my brother in law, so my sister was in the car, in his car, and then my stepmom was in my dad's car. And I'm like, dude, this is going to be awesome. So I get my wife in there. I'm like jamming shit behind her in the seat because she can't reach the pedals. Because I didn't even think about her doing this
uh,
shit, or I would put like blocks on the pedals or something. She could barely touch, and she gets out on the track, starting on the pole, and by the time they got back to the backstretch, she was in complete last place, and she got back to the pit. She goes, "Did everybody just like pass me 3 or 4 times?" I was like, "Yeah, what the hell were you doing?" She's like, "I was pushing the pedal down as far as I possibly could." I'm like, "Woman, that thing will go." Like,
couldn't
you weren't
reach.
pushing it down all the way. But she wouldn't do it again because those other cars, I mean, the women don't care, dude. Like, I
Yeah,
had,
they'll just crash.
oh, dude, the rear end of my car was destroyed. But it was funny, dude. They call it a
Yeah,
powder
there you
puff.
go.
That's what it was. But yeah, dude, we'll just keep working on that. We'll have to do that in here again because I want to watch the goddamn show. The women can race, and all the men will be in Discord just talking
All
shit.
right. Hovering.
That'll be phenomenal.
Yep.
All right, Jerry, we're gonna wrap it up, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to get off your chest? Now's the time.
Just thank you to everybody, man. You might not seem like it, but everyone means something to somebody. Obviously, we wouldn't be here. So thank you to everybody that's in Chop Shop involved. But yeah.
All right, you guys heard it from Jerry. He's not a very complicated guy. All he wants to do is race.
Have fun.
So if you find him at the grocery store, bang carts together, and let him know it's on.
Bang something.
I mean, he'll race you. I always like at the end of these podcasts to thank our sponsors because obviously Chop Shop would not be what Chop Shop is, and it would not function at the capacity that it does. Thanks to Fuego Paints, C2 Gaming, My Three Sons, Track Racer, the Ballastatus Boys, Speedy Trophies, Admin Box, Geomax, Virtual Velocity Racing, MCI Graphics. Those are just the ones that I always list. I'm sure there's more. So I'll get that fixed and make sure we add them all, obviously, to keep all of our sponsors happy. I'm Ryan Went. I'm your host. We are going to be signing off. Thank you again, Jerry. Everybody else, have a great night.